15, do you know where your students are? Nick Smuck here with
Ross Venman.
bringing you your morning announcements. Check out the Squire online at www.squirenews.com, and our midwinter issue of the paper is also there, so go check that out too.
Attention all students. The Rouse Estate has job openings for high school students. Please view the guidance office for more information.
In club news, Club Crossroads will meet on April 18th. That is a Wednesday at Mrs. Hunt's room from 8 o'clock to 8:25. That's April, actually, not.
Yeah. News from the guidance office. Any student that is planning on attending St. Bonaventure's dual enrollment program should complete an income-based scholarship. These scholarships are specifically designed for students attending St. Bonaventure. Please pick up one in the guidance office, and the deadline is May 31st.
Well, it's a little late for us to do that, but if
Yeah,
you're
just a
thinking
little
about
bit.
college, it's a good way to get your gen eds out of the way. You don't
Yeah.
have to deal with them. Any 9th grader who is planning on attending the Career Center in 10th grade must complete a request form. These forms are located in guidance. If you are not sure about completing one, please double check with guidance as soon as possible.
Scholarships. See the guidance office for any scholarship opportunities.
And we got some athletic news. Spring sports, second week of that. Baseball,
Yeah.
track, trap, softball as well in that.
Yeah.
Well, how's the how you don't play spring?
Nah, I don't play spring sports.
That's the
kinda-
track team, the girls track. You're like half
Girls
into
track.
that,
Yeah, I kind of am in the girls track team. I don't know. They're looking pretty good. Doing a lot of running in the school throughout the halls, getting ready for run around the track, throw some stuff.
That's good. Well, baseball, very young team, gonna be a tough season, so look
Yikes.
forward to that. And now we have an interview with Mrs. Alm.
Here to interview Mrs. Alm about the upcoming lockdown drill, which will be taking place on March 23rd. Can you explain to us a little bit about how the drill will work and what it will be like for the students?
Sure. So on Friday, March 23rd, we are going to conduct a lockdown drill. This can be in the afternoon. Remember, with your ALICE training, a lockdown drill means you are to stay in your room and follow the procedures that are led by your teacher. A big thing of what we're looking for you guys to do during that drill is to have the conversation with your teacher of, if this happens, what should we do next? And then if you're in your rooms, how do we safeguard? How do we get ready to fight back? What items could I grab if someone were to come into the classroom or break in? So a big piece of what that drill is going to be for students and faculty is for you guys to have some time to have that open communication on what do we do in this situation. And we just want to reinforce, as you see with some of the posters up throughout the building, a lockdown would only be called if there was some sort of active problem within the building, that you would be in some sort of danger. So you'll want to listen to the announcements, what's going on. We will inform you maybe of where that person is or where they're moving towards. So again, just having that conversation with your teacher of what would we do next. That's going to be a big piece. But there are different forms. Again, there's the lockout, which means we wouldn't be letting anybody in or out of the school, but day-to-day actions can continue to move. You can move from class to class, you can go to the bathroom. We just wouldn't be letting anybody in the building, and we wouldn't be letting anybody out of the building. So that means maybe there's an accident up on 957 and law enforcement's kind of told us, like, listen, we can't have any traffic, we can't, we're taking care of a situation. That would be, the lockout. And then as we did the hold a couple weeks ago, that's where you need to remain in your classroom, but you can go about your business within that classroom. Teaching can still take place, and we would use a hold, possibly for the dogs, as you've seen, and or if there was an emergency, if maybe someone was sick and we had to get emergency crews through the building, we would put everybody on a hold just because we can't have the traffic in and out of the hallways. So we have a couple different things to think about. but we're going to be doing the lockdown, which is the most serious one. And again, your responsibility during that time is to have a conversation with your teachers. What do we do in this situation? What will we do in this situation? And kind of come up with a game plan so you know what to do if that were to ever happen.
So should they take it seriously and move stuff, block windows and stuff, or should they just talk through what they would move and stuff?
That's a good question. So we want you to take it seriously to the point of we want you to talk about it. What would we block in front of the door? We're not looking for actual furniture to start getting stacked up, but to have that conversation of like, maybe you want to put someone in charge of, hey, if we're in class at this time, you've got desk, you've got chairs, you know, you would do this. And then also part of the lockdown and part of Alice is that you want to protect yourself. If someone were to come into the room, a person's ability, their brain, to be able to focus is hampered when you're screaming, when you're yelling, when you're throwing things at them.
Mm-hmm.
So a good practice would be like, look around the room. What would you grab? What are you going to throw at someone? Think about your shoes. Think about, you know, what do you have that would work in your favor to distract someone who might be coming in?
Okay. In the event of a lockdown, what should students do if they're in a location such as a computer lab or bathroom where there's no teacher to instruct them?
So in that situation, for our drill, I believe what we're going to have you do is remain there because we want to have that conversation with those people of, okay, this is where you ended up, here's where you would go. If it were to really happen, again, you'll want to listen to the announcements. It would all depend on where the person who's maybe causing danger is at. If you have the ability to get out of the building in a situation, part of Alice calls, you get out, you go. So, and you know, we can discuss that, and you should be discussing that with the teachers of, if you're in the back of the building, where should you be going? They have spots to tell you. If you're in the front of the building, where would you be going? So have that conversation with your teachers of, depending on where we are, is where you would escape to.
Okay.
But you want to get out.
Okay. If a lockdown happens during lunch, what do the students in the cafeteria do?
So a piece of the cafeteria is actually where you get your food. That all closes and doesn't have windows.
Okay.
And their side doors, they're keeping locked, just as we're trying to keep all your classroom doors locked now. Those are all locked. So push into the cafeteria part, close and lock the doors as soon as you can.
Okay.
But again, you are by an exit there. And depending on where the situation might be, your best bet might be to get out of the building.
Okay. During a lockdown, if a student is in the hallway and all classroom doors are locked, what do they do?
I think that goes back to you have to listen to the announcements, and if you need to get out, if you have a close exit, you want to go that route.
Okay, because you're not allowed to open the doors for students, correct?
They're not going to be letting people, once those doors are locked and in, people are in and they won't be letting anybody in. The only way that we will, even during the drill, the only way you will know that someone's coming in, even police officers, if they come and like, you don't open up, we will let ourselves in. So unless someone shows up with the key, unlocks the door, and tells you it's clear, that you're to stay where you're at.
Okay. What should students and teachers within the classrooms during the drill be doing?
And that's the big piece again, have that conversation. What would you block a door with? What are you going to protect yourself with? What are you going to throw at someone? Things like that. Walk yourself through that model.
Okay. How will the front office respond to the lockdown situation? What do students do if they are in the office?
So the front office staff, if a student was in the front office, they would take them. There's a secure spot we have for the front office staff, for the secretaries and such. And their role primarily will be kind of as that communication piece over the loudspeaker. And we have a secure location that has the ability to communicate with the whole campus. So that's their role, and that's where they would go. If you're a student in the room at that time, I imagine they're going to bring you along with to secure you.
Okay. If students are able to get to their cars, if they drive, should they drive home and get out of here?
In a real situation, not in the drill. in a real situation, if a lockdown's called and there's some sort of active shooter or students are at danger, if you can go, again, go. That's your best bet.
Okay. If an emergency occurs and a student is injured, should other students help?
This is a tough one. If you're first aid certified, we could always say you know well enough to help, but a big thing that I like to stick to is think about if you've ever ridden an airplane. Part of what they tell you is you got to save yourself in order to help others. Someone will be around to help that student, but I would suggest you get out if you need to get out, and we'll take care of them.
Okay. What should students do if they hear something alarming or are concerned about a student being a danger to themselves or to someone else?
This is a really good question. Kids are doing a really good job, as you've seen in some of the other buildings. If you hear something where someone's threatening the safety of students, faculty, staff, you need to report it. And that can be to any teacher, any faculty member that you feel comfortable with. It could be your school counselors, it can be us in the administration. But if you hear of anything, please tell an adult.
Okay. Is there anything else you think students or faculty should know regarding lockdowns or an emergency situation?
I think a big piece for all of us is, although the situation is very scary, the best thing that I'm trying to promote to everybody is the more calm we are, the better, the clearer head that we can think with, and just to make the right decision of keeping everybody safe. Really try hard not to try and overreact to situations, and let the information, we have a plan. You guys know what to do. Follow the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That is
Thank
all we
you.
have for today for our interview with Miss Alm.
Thanks, guys.
For your morning announcements, have a great day. Stay cautious.